Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. We're here for a fun topic. Um, a while ago, we talked about video games that have been made into movies. We're going to flip it up this time. We're going to be talking about the top 12 movies that are video games or video games based on a movie. The amount of times I've actually had to clarify that to some people. That and while I still while we wait for Richie to end up back in because he's disappeared.
Yeah, he sent a message that he had his computer shut off on him.
His computer shut off, so he said he'll be back in a bit. But with that being said, I've got Vernon here. Vernon, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. Good to see you. Really happy to be on today.
But yeah, while I wait for Richie to come back, how the show works, we're going to go around in a panel discussion, and okay, take it in turns to nominate a video game that we think belongs on the list of the top 12 video games that are based on movies. And then at the end we're going to rank them from 12 to 1. That being said, that is all that I need to say. Actually, that's not all. The other thing is, this year I brought in a new rule that if someone has not seen it, or in this case played the game, then for it to make the list, it has to get the majority of the votes from the other people on the panel. So basically, if, say, someone brings up the Atari classic video game based on E.T.,
I doubt that's going to make the list, but
but I have not played it. But if Vernon and Richie have played it and they say that it should be on the list, then they both say yes to it, then that makes the list. That way. That being said, I'm going to try and do as much as I can.
Well, I know whoever gets the first pick, we all had better have picked this game as the first one to throw out there. I can tell you that.
But yeah, but for that, I'm going to go to Vernon to bring up the game, and hopefully Richie jumps in shortly.
All right, so my first pick, which should be everybody's first pick if you've ever played a video game based on a movie. The year is 1997. I was, 11 years old at the time. N64 was making its big staple here in the United States at the time. Mario was really big, but the father of all first-person shooters, Goldeneye 007, should be on this list, if not number one on this list. You've got. Go ahead.
Oh no, you keep going.
Yeah, you've got obviously the campaign mode, which is really great. Pretty much goes through the movie scene by scene, but then you also have the multiplayer with modes like the man with the golden gun. Pretty much everybody chasing down the man with the golden gun, and then of course throwing in the cheats on that and getting the Moonraker laser, where you can pretty much shoot somebody from anywhere on your map. It's a good time, 4-player, multiplayer, first-person shooter. It really was the father of all first-person shooters in video games. And the game itself, graphics-wise, and the music was insane for a video game, had all the licensed music, was a really, really good game.
But yeah, this is actually a game I've never actually played before. But this is one of those ones that, like, as I said before, the thing, like, there's going to be some games I'm going to say yes to regardless on if I haven't played it, just because from what I've seen of it, it does look like a good game. And also, I know there's some people that would say that this definitely belongs on this list for sure, but yeah, I'd say yes, make the list. I'll hopefully get Richie's opinion on this later. Goldeneye for the 64 is making this list. Um, but that being said, I'm going to go next. Just what because we might as well keep the show going as best as we can while we wait for
Absolutely.
Richie. And I'm going to bring up. I'm actually going to bring up the first Lego game. It does. I mean, they count because they're still based on the movies. And Lego games, to me, are ones that are always a lot of fun. And like when you unlock the characters, you can mix up the movies. And the one I'm going to bring up is one that I actually just recently replayed again. Is Lego Jurassic World.
Absolutely.
This is just one of those ones I love playing. And this one is made a lot of fun because, like, if you want to have Owen Grady, in the opening level taking the place of an Alan Grant, then you can. And the fact they had the goal to have Mr. DNA as an character you can play as in the game, as well as bringing in Colin Trevorrow, Steven Spielberg, some DJ guy, I think, as well. They brought a lot of random characters, but it's just a whole lot of fun. What do you say about Lego Jurassic World?
Oh, I could not disagree more. Any Lego game, I'm probably not going to say no to, um, because the Lego games they take so much time and care with those properties that any of them are going to be good. But the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park series was really good. I really enjoyed that one.
Um, but yeah, just um,
I hope we did not lose our third panelist.
I hope not too. But that being said, Lego Jurassic World does make this list. But with that being said, I will have a poll. I'll just try and stall as much as I can, but there will be a poll up on they'll have on the Take Free page after this with the topics on offer for next week. But with that being said,
I can go again if you need me to.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I was going. That's what I was about to say. But
So
Vernon Curry.
I don't want everybody to think that I'm just going with nostalgia on all these games, but really some of these were the best ones to ever come out, especially that I've played in my lifetime. But in 1989, Sunsoft came out with the motion picture adaptation video game of Batman. And this game was kind of a Ninja Gaiden type style game. The graphics were dark, very crisp for the time for a NES machine. The music was good. It had scenes from the movie as you went through. You fought at the chemical plant in the bell tower. You fight the Joker at the end. Controls were good. Weapon selection was fun, but it was not easy. I will not say that this was a very easy game, but being able to get a really good Batman game at the time, because there wasn't really a lot of good Batman games back then. There were a few for some of the computer systems, but this one really did take the cake and really smack you in the face, say, hey, Batman's here on the video game system, and we're going to have some fun. So yeah, that would be my next one.
Yeah, this is one that I've not actually played myself, and from what I've seen of it, I really don't care too much about it, to be honest.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of those ones. It looks fine for the time. It's just it. I mean, this is with the exception of Goldeneye, with this Batman one, it looks like it's one of those ones that you need to play to get the thing with Goldeneye. Just watching people play and get the enjoyment out of it is fun to watch. But with that being said, we do have a third panelist.
I'm here.
It's Richie. But Richie, how's it going? And what do you say about the NES Batman game?
Man, it's been a while since I played that. I do remember liking it. It's very my contribution is going to be very vague on this one because I do remember liking it, but I don't. It's been that long that I have very very foggy memories about it. But I do, and I knew it's got good reviews, so I would have no issue with it being on. But yeah.
So Batman NES is making this list.
It was good, but it was hard. That's. I don't know a lot of people who've actually beaten the game.
But with that, just to recap for Richie on what's on this list, we've got GoldenEye 64, Lego Jurassic World, and now Batman NES on this list.
Okay.
Richie, I'm going to go to you for your first pick.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna, I mean, GoldenEye was gonna be mine, but I get that I knew that was gonna go early, so I'm gonna go with another sort of Disney one. I'm gonna go with the one that I PlayStation game I played religiously back in the day. I'm gonna go with Hercules. That game rule. That game still I played it the other day. Still holds up, and it was it's quite difficult like Batman. But I enjoy it, and it's really one of those. It was I had one of the I got like a pre-owned game, and then someone on the back of the booklet put on how sometimes you had to have codes to get up to your saved point. Someone had put the codes into the last level, so I mean that was the only way I was ever going to complete that game. But I did enjoy playing it. It was probably way before game rage set in or anything like that. I was just like, yeah, but I don't know if anyone remembers it, but it is a very good game.
What game was it?
Hercules on PS1 and that's on
Hercules.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hercules. You said it so fast. I thought you said Turtles. I was about to say which Turtles game. So I'm glad I specified.
Oh, yeah, no. Hercules. Sorry.
This is one that I think I've played at least once. I really do not remember this game. I'm saying no. Vernon, have you played this Hercules game?
I cannot say I have played it. I have seen some reviews of it because it was in an Arnold Schwarzenegger video one time, but it was not Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover of this box. So yeah, I cannot say I've ever played it. But I have seen gameplay, but never played it.
Yep. So unfortunately, Hercules isn't going to make this list.
All right.
And with that being said, I'm going to go to my next one. Now, in this franchise, there's been a lot of games that have come out. Some are directly based on movies. Some take an element from the movies, and it's just a really fun thing. And this is going to be where I'm going with this. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is a fun game. It's one of those ones I love. Say what you want about the Phantom Menace. I personally enjoy the movie. I think it's fine. But the pod racing scene is what a lot of people go to when they remember this movie, and so they developed the whole game based on racing around in pod races. You get to unlock various different other pods, but it's a fun game. And anyone that knows me in real life know that I really do not go for racing games much. But you Star Wars it up, then I'm going to play it any time. Vernon, what do you say about Star Wars Episode 1 Racer?
Yeah, I mean, N64 again. It was I believe it came out did it come out N64 or GameCube? I want to say it was N64.
I think it might have been on. I think it might have been on all of the big ones.
So, I mean, it was a great. I think I played it on N64. I remember being able to play the different characters that were in the pod racing scene, and I actually do recall this being on my PlayStation 4 when I got the Star Wars Battlefront bundle. It was actually one of the free games that came with the system that you could play in high def. So yes, definitely thumbs up for that one.
And Mitchie, what would you have said about Star Wars Episode 1 Racer?
Yeah, man, I remember playing this game. Like my dad back in the day owned like a video store, so and then like occasionally I'd pop in and this played 64 out the back, and this was one of those games. But like you, I probably not. I don't really gravitate towards racing games mainly because I'm pretty shit at them. But this was. But yeah, I remember this was really fun, and I I have no issue being on the list. So.
But yeah, it was on PC, N64, Game Boy, Mac OS, Dreamcast, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox.
So it made its rounds.
Yeah. But with that, we go back to Vernon. Vernon, what's your next nomination?
So we're going to stay in the world of Star Wars because they did really have a lot of games. But I want to take you back to 2005, May 4th, 2 weeks before Episode 3 actually came out on the big screen. The video game studios released Episode 3 on PlayStation 2 and other consoles like that. And the way I remember it was I played this game, beat it, had enough cutscenes and enough gameplay in this game that I already knew the complete plot line of Episode 3 from beginning to end. And I had actually gotten to go opening night to see the movie because I worked for a radio station at the time, so we had our private theater. And I was like, I am not I walked out because I have already seen this movie in a video game. There was nothing enjoyable about this movie to me now that I've played the video game. So that one really sticks out in my mind, and I really enjoyed it because I actually got to play the movie before it come out.
But yeah, Richie, what do you say about the Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith?
I don't know if I've ever played it, so I gotta excuse myself here.
Yeah, this is one I wasn't sure if I played until I actually just looked it up on Wiki and saw a element that I remembered about it. That now I remember that. Oh yes, I actually have played this because I'm going to say yes to it because it is a really great game, and this is it's also one of those ones. And the bit that made me click on if I'd played it or not is that they had an alternate ending. So if you fail at the end, you can choose whether you want to play as Obi-Wan or Anakin. If you fail, and you could, there is an alternate scene in which, if you play as Anakin and you defeat Obi-Wan, Vader's jump is successful, and he murders Obi-Wan and all that, and he goes back and murders Palpatine. It's just a fun ending that would have completely rewritten the original trilogy completely. And that was the bit that I thought really fun because it's one of those ones with a lot of those movie games, which is probably why they don't do like strict based on movies before they come out so much now. Because it's for that reason. People do get spoiled from the movies if they play it early, or even if they didn't play it early, like just seeing stuff out there and would have spoiled enough because 2005 was about around the time when Facebook only just started becoming a thing as well. So that plus internet was a dangerous combination, but it's also one of those ones that Revenge of the Sith is one of the better prequels. I'll stand on that whole.
I agree with you. It's not like I still don't think it's a great movie, but yeah, it's I would say if for me the prequels go probably 3, 1, 2. But yeah, so but yeah.
It's but we're going to go on to Richie for his next nomination.
All right, I'm gonna go with another franchise now, and I think one I played when a kid, when that one sort of first came out. It was a huge deal because of all the books. I'm gonna go with Harry Potter and the Philosopher. I guess whatever you want to call it, Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this game really surprised me. And it was, it's really it really encapsulates the world probably, and I like how it also you can actually do a lot of the classes, in order to sort of upgrade. And I just think it was just a very that they got the world right, and it was just very immersive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure if I played it again, I'd probably get right back in it. It's probably one of the better ones. I think as gradually as Harry Potter games came out, they got less good. Especially, I think there was one on the PS4 which is really bad. But yeah, this first one was really good. So yeah.
But yeah, this is one is actually tough for me because this is the one I was alluding to before we went live, that there is one that's based on two different mediums, which I'm kind of iffy about. But because Harry Potter, game is more based on the books than it is connected to the movies. It wasn't until the later games in which they started actually incorporating the movie actors and making it look more like them. So
Yeah,
I
would say that they the actual I think that the actual characters are made to look like the sort of the actors playing it. So I think it maybe when I watched it, I thought it was more based on the movies than the books.
No, it's one of those ones I'm definitely not faulting you for bringing it up, because I had them all on my list too, because these games were released in conjunction with the movies. So I'm not saying they don't count. That I'm not that mean. I'm just going to say no to this specific one, but I might bring up one of the later ones up. But Vernon, what do you say about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone?
So I'm gonna have to go with the argument with Richie on this one. There is enough to incorporate the movie into this game. It's not the best renditions of the people that are in the movie. I mean, but there are some people like Hagrid that looks just like he did in the movie. There's a lot of set pieces, and of course, yes, it is in the book as well. But I do remember playing it. And yeah, I'm going to have to give him a go on this one. This is a thumbs up for me, because it really did encapsulate, like he said, the world of Harry Potter in a video game, especially in that earlier graphics. But I'm looking at some of the photos here, and yeah, I mean, I got to give it to him on this one.
It's one of those ones. I'm definitely not faulting you at all for bringing it up, because it's. This is one was probably one of the tougher ones anyway for that reason, because yes, it was released in conjunction with the movies, so you could argue they did it based on the movies because of that. But it's also one of those ones that, being a big Potterhead like I am, but yeah, it makes the list. We can stop talking about it. It's my turn.
I'd say I was getting ready to screen share something with you that kind of gives you the whole three of the kids that are from the movie. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones. Like I get it. Like, the characters do look like the movie characters. But yeah. But anyway, gonna move on. We're halfway through this already. I have no idea where I'm going for my next.
We're on. Yeah, we're on you. I think.
Oh yeah, I was talking to myself, because I've got a lot of options on my list. I just don't know which one I want to go with. I think I'll go for this one. This is I'm going to go for the Golden Compass video game. This is one of those ones that when the movie came out, I had a lot of hopes for the movie, and it's a good movie. It just could have been much better. But anyway, the game, I really enjoyed playing this game because you got to use the alethiometer to work out very different puzzles that wasn't in the movie. They expanded on the lore. This is another one similar to Harry Potter that you can argue book semantics, all that. But this is another one that is based on the movie solely because they do use some of the voices from the movie in this. But that being said, it depends on if you played it or not and what you want to go with. But Vernon, what do you say about the Golden Compass?
So I cannot say that I've ever seen the movie, nor have I played the game. I do know that it has a giant polar bear on the cover. I know that much, but as far as anything else, I'm bowing out of this one. I can't help you on this one.
Richie, have you played the Golden Compass?
Yeah, man, it's going to be a no because I haven't played it, man. I watched the movie and I wasn't, it didn't sort of make me go, oh, yeah, I should check out the game. So I just sort of avoided this one.
Yeah, and that's totally fair, which means we go to Vernon for the next nomination.
Well, since I can see Malcolm wants games that have very much movie likenesses and people that were in the movie and you can't take anything else but that. My next one's going to be from 2003. I played it on the GameCube. It was Enter the Matrix. So from the Matrix franchise, this was in between Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. It had Jada Pinkett Smith in it. I mean, you are actually playing as characters in the movies. I remember it actually introduced what is called the bullet time feature, which is the whole slow down whenever bullets are shot at you and different things like that so you can react. That would be my next one up on the board.
Richie, what do you say about Enter the Matrix?
I actually, fun story, I bought this on PS2 when it first came out, and I finished it within that day. And so
I didn't say it wasn't easy.
Yeah, I was like, man, I mean, I think like we said before that we went on air, it's like so sometimes it's like not with video game movies to video game, it's not about like what's the best one, just to kind of leak shit. And so like I think like I mean I was a bit disappointed with Into the Matrix, but I still had fun with it. So I could see it's a soft yes, but I would say
we'll leave it to Malcolm.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless of what I say, it's making the list anyway because of Richie's yes. I mean, I was going to go yes too. Into the Matrix is a fun game. I believe this was actually set between Reloaded and Revolutions to bridge that gap, which I thought was a fun way to kind of reveal what happened sort of in between those movies, especially because they're bringing in like Jada Pinkett Smith and all that into this franchise seemingly out of nowhere. But I mean I also am one of those people that did not hate the Neo game they brought out later, the Path of Neo, because that was also a fun game, being able to play through the whole Matrix trilogy. But I enjoyed Into the Matrix, and this is one of those ones that it was fun.
It's really fun when you turn on all the cheats and you actually have the same attributes as an agent going through the game. That really made it a whole.
There was a thing where I think if you played it on hard or something, you could, or some cheats like you can unlock Trinity or something. I think that was the idea. Like you can get Trinity. I was initially disappointed that you play I was assuming Into the Matrix you'd play with Neo and or Morpheus and stuff. Right. I off the bat, where you like play against these like all sort of these side characters no one really gives a like. So, but like I got into it pretty well. But yeah, it's yeah, like it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, no, I had fun with it, and I think there's a lot of hype for it because the Matrix movie to a game, it just makes sense like that that whole lore like that make an awesome game, and I think I maybe built it up in my head a lot, and then so when it didn't meet expectations, it's like, oh, it's shit, but it's not really that shit. It just didn't meet my expectations, but I still like the game. I'll still enjoy it.
Yeah. And the other fun thing about this is it's the first appearance of the new person that played the Oracle in the Reloaded and Revolutions. Because Gloria Foster died in between the first two, and the game actually explained her change of appearance because they kind of explained it in the game, which I thought was an interesting idea to do. But that being said, Richie, what is the next game you're going to bring up?
So I'm going to go with the game that sort of came out I think about over 2 decades after the movie came out, and so it's not like exactly a tie-in or anything like that. It's by Rockstar. It's The Warriors. This game rule. Because I honestly wasn't expecting because it's Rockstar, but Rockstar delivered on this one. It's really fun, really immersive, and again, like Harry Potter, it gets the whole sort of world in there. And yeah, like if you want to play it now, I think it's you can get a remastered thing on PlayStation 4 and 5, and yeah, I recently got it again, and it's really fun. And yeah.
I've not played this myself. Vernon, have you played The Warriors?
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of a beat 'em up game. I know that it had a lot of the open world features that some of your like Grand Theft Autos and stuff like that had, if I remember correctly. Had a lot of open world scenarios. I did not play it a lot, but I know that it was really a beautiful game for what it was, and I think that was on PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And you can get the like a remastered thing on PS4 now.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty
yeah, absolutely. I'll give him that one. It was a fun game if I remember correctly.
So was that a yes, Vernon? Did you
Yes.
say yes? Yeah, I kind of wish they put the remastered Harry Potter games on to the PlayStation Store, but they're not there. But moving on to me, I'm gonna go for I'm bringing up another Lego game. I'm bringing up the Lego Incredibles game. This is one of those ones that when they announced that they were doing a game based on the Incredibles, my first thought was, why? There's only 2 movies. It's going to be a really short game. But it may have been short because when you play through the actual movie levels, because you play through both Incredibles 1 and 2, there's a whole lot of mini side quests that you go and fight crime. You get to play as these characters and do all these side quests that they bring in. You play against each of the different villains that they introduce in Lego Incredibles 2. And the other fun thing that they did is they picked 12 random Pixar characters to bring into this game. Like, you can play as Woody, you can play as Nemo in the Lego Incredibles world. And actually playing as Nemo is really fun because you play as Nemo in this little water bubble. You can have Nemo going down the streets in a water bubble. So, but Vernon, what do you say about Lego The Incredibles?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I keep going back to this same phrase. You cannot go wrong with a Lego movie game. My favorite character in this one was Frozone, because you could literally just ice your way around the whole darn stage and up, down, every which way you needed to go, you could do it. So yeah, absolutely fun beat 'em up, button masher, but with elements of the movies in there. Absolutely.
And Richie, what would you have said about Lego The Incredibles?
Not much because I haven't played this one. Didn't they did have a they did have like a normal Incredibles game, didn't they? I thought they might come out
They do have a normal Incredibles game as well. That was based after the first one. I don't know if they did one for Incredibles 2. If they did, I haven't seen it. So
yeah, I don't think they did, but yeah, I've got to. I can't really vote for this one because I haven't played it. But it does. You did sell it to me, and I do want to play it now because the idea of playing with multiple Pixar characters intrigues me. No.
Yeah, I really wish that they do Lego Toy Story at some stage. At the moment, the next Lego game that is coming out is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which they play through the.
Milking that cow for all she is worth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't mind like Star Wars and stuff, but they've already touched that ground multiple times. It'd be cool if they did something different.
I mean, I think specifically why they're doing the Skywalker Saga is because they never actually did a game for The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And they'll probably include like Solo and Rogue One as DLCs, most likely. But we're not here to talk about upcoming ones. Vernon, what is your next one you're going to bring up?
So you might disqualify this one because it is it's a unofficial sequel to a movie. I'm going to go with 2009's Ghostbusters, the video game. Storyline, it was technically supposed to be the third movie. Even with the original script, it was supposed to be the third movie. Number one, the graphics for the 360 and PS3 were insane at the time for that game. I actually remember this game frying my Xbox 360 because it couldn't handle it. I had to get another one. The controls, everything you want, proton packs, PKE meters, traps. I mean, you've got it all in the game. The soundtrack, the story, the characters that are actually in it. I mean, you've got a lot of reprised roles from the movies. So, yeah, I mean, when you talk about a movie and a game, this is the full definition of that package right there.
But yeah, Richie, what to say about Ghostbusters, the video game?
Yeah, this was on my list. I think it counts. Like, it's still based on. I don't know. It's still like kind of based on the actual franchise, and yeah, and I think it's great. I think it's great that they got like all the characters get it together, and it was a bit of a passion, obviously like a passion project for like Bill Murray, who also like with the movies, he wanted. It was like all the members have equal screen time, and that carried over to the game as well, and it was really cool. And it's just sort of there's not much. There's not been a lot of Ghostbusters games in the past. This is the better one. I think there was one that came out like a couple of years ago, which is really bad, but this one is really good. But I think it gets lost in the shuffle because there's a lot of other sort of. I think people just think Ghostbusters games and think, oh, it's pretty, like that they just dismiss it. But this one's like really fun.
This is one of those games that I've been meaning to play at some stage. I just haven't played it yet. But I mean, it makes the list regardless.
I mean, it means enough to me that I still have the copy of the PS3 game because I was afraid I was never going to get a real Ghostbusters sequel.
Mm.
Yeah. Because I think they did release a game that's based on the 2016 Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah, that was a bad game. That's a bad game.
But that being said, we're going to move on. Richie, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
I'm gonna bring another PS1 game. This is I don't know if it's not cheating because it's all in one game. but it's a thing. It's called the Die Hard Trilogy. It's on PS1, and it's great because like you play all 3 movies, and they're all sort of different genres. It's got like you know one is sort of like it's your typical like person shooter sort of thing. Die Hard 2 is like a more of a time crisis type thing, and then number 3 is sort of like GTA. Die Hard with a small GTA. It's just like this. It's just like, and then they get. Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. Like like the whole, I like the concept of having all 3 movies based on one thing, and then like them all being different. I mean it's been a while since I played it, but yeah, I remember it kind of it kind of blew me away just how with the especially with the story and like again the immersion, you can immerse yourself in this world, and yeah, I really dug this.
I'm just going to put simply, I've never played this. I didn't even know this existed until when I looked up this list last week when I was making mine. So, Vernon, what do you say about the Die Hard trilogy?
As good as the game looked, and I love the cover art for the box and the game, I probably would have enjoyed it because it looks a lot like the Duke Nukem series in that era of PS1 games. I cannot say that I've ever played it. Beautiful looking game though. I remember looking at it, but I was like, I just can't do it. Yeah.
So unfortunately, it doesn't. This is one of those cases.
I want to believe you that it's so good.
Yeah.
But we've only got 2 spots left.
And I'm looking at the game to see if I can trigger a memory that I played it, but I cannot. As you said, Die Hard on NES, yes, but not.
Yeah, the PlayStation. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go for one that is one of those ones that I is another one which is a fun game. It's another one that is also based on the books, but this is one of those ones in which the cover art is more from the movies. I'm bringing up Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. This is a fun game to play because not only does it do slightly different from the movies, you can choose to whether you want to play which storyline want to take on first. Actually, I might be confusing it for Return of the King now. But this is the Two Towers video game. It's one of those ones that is fun, and yeah, I've not played it in ages, so I don't remember it much. But Vernon, what do you say about Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers?
Again, as much as I want to believe you, I have never played it.
Richie,
I have actually played it, and yeah, you probably can tell by the this is probably next. This is probably next on my list. This is great. Like you probably don't remember a lot of it. But I do remember being sucked. It did a great job being sucked into this world, and it was obviously and it's probably technically you'd think it's the first full Lord of the Rings game based on the movie, and I really dug it. I played it like at Christmas time with my cousins once. I think we got right to the end, but couldn't win the battle at the end with all the people in it. But that's still frustrates me now. Maybe I'll go back and eventually get play it. But it's a yes for me. I thoroughly enjoyed my game experience and so on.
But yeah, so if that to 2 hours does make the list, and we move on to Vernon. Vernon, what is your next pick, and for what could potentially be the last one?
So I have to go with my gut on this one. It was originally an arcade game, and I can't say that it ported over well to the home consoles, but as far as an arcade game, it was one that just ate up the quarters every time you go to any arcade. Kids were on it. Kids were roughhousing it. Kids were wanting to tear it apart, and take it home. It was Terminator 2: Judgment Day, the shooter that you had the two Uzi guns on the actual machine, and had the vibration, and just beautiful artwork in the game. The box, the cabinet of the game was gorgeous. It had Arnold on one side, a Terminator on the other. Actually, I think it just had two Terminators on it. But that would be my next one that I would go with.
Richie, what do you say about T2 Judgment Day?
Well, I never actually played the arcade one. I played it when it was ported over to the NES, and so that my kind of impression of that was not great because the NES games were pretty bad. So I haven't played the arcade one, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, I don't know. I probably have to say no.
I've just not played it. It's not going to make the list.
I mean, will absolutely go against it being on the list because of the fact he said it was horrible on a home console. I'm absolutely fine with that.
But with that being said, Richie, can you do the last one?
All right, I'm gonna go for I'm torn between two here. But all right, if all right, I'm gonna go. It's another Disney property, and I think it's on Sega, Mega Drive, and a couple other consoles. I'm gonna go with Aladdin.
Holy cow! Really? That was the last one I had on there. I don't know if you could see that. Yeah. Wow.
Cool. It's made the list then. Go.
Yeah.
This is really fun. I remember it's kind of like in terms of like there's a Lion King one. For some reason they're very super hard, but I enjoyed it, and it got all the it's very entertaining. Got all the voice. You sort of again. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but you got the sort of mythos right in the world. And it was it's very entertaining. Genie's very entertaining. I haven't played it in a while, obviously, because it's an older game, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
This is one that I've not played. I've seen gameplay of it. It's just one of those ones. Like I wasn't one of those ones that really play like the Nintendo consoles. I've always been PlayStation myself, so a lot of the games just passed me by if I wasn't at a friend's place. But Verdun, it clearly doesn't make the list. What do you have to say about Aladdin?
No, so I mean, it was very hard making my list because I didn't want to go all Disney movies because Disney does it well, and Richie picked the right one. I mean, it really came down for the last spot on my list between Aladdin, Lion King, and Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story is what I was thinking.
Toy Story was really good, but Aladdin, on every console it was on, it had something else to offer you. Like he said, the presentation was good, the level design, the characters, the music, everything about this game did it right. So, yeah, I absolutely am for this one on the list.
But that closes out the list. To recap the 12 movies that we're going to be sort of ranking in a bit. We've got GoldenEye 64, Lego Jurassic World, Batman on the NES, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Lego Star Wars Episode 3, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Enter the Matrix, The Warriors, Lego The Incredibles, Ghostbusters the video game, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and Aladdin. Before we go on to the ranking, I'm going to bring up the honorable mentions that I had on me for myself. One that I liked playing as a kid because I was one of those kids that had the really old Amiga computers. Arachnophobia was a fun game. I had no idea what the movie was. I just knew it was something about spiders. And the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory video game based on the Johnny Depp movie was fun. The movie itself was, say what you want, it wasn't that great, but the video game was at least fun. The Harry Potter game I would have gone for myself would be Deathly Hallows Part 2. Just a full-on battle type game, which was just fun. I did have the original Incredibles game on my list, and just because I don't want to go too much, because I want to give some people a chance to have some. The Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End was a fun game, which incorporated the Dead Man's Chest into the game as well, because for some reason it was the only it was the only one of that series, well, technically two, that actually got a video game. Like, I think Curse of Black Pearl got a Game Boy game. I'm not too sure, but Dead Man's Chest, World's End sort of combined into one was just one game, which is I found interesting. But did you have any honorable mentions that you may have only just thought about or that you wanted?
Richie, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I got a few of them we mentioned. Like, so I was tossing up when I picked Aladdin, I was tossing up between that and Toy Story. But yeah, so Toy Story would be on this. Probably Lion King as well. Also Monsters Inc. has been a decent game. Yeah, this is ridiculous, but I like it because it's so ridiculous. There is a game called Street Fighter the movie, the game, and that is. So it's got like sort of like Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. It's a very weird idea. I don't even know why they bothered, but it's fun. I just like it because it's dumb. So yeah, things like that. I don't know, like I don't know if you'd count Alien Isolation. That's a decent game, but it's actually totally based on it. That's probably all I've got at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you brought up Alien Isolation, I've never played it. I probably would count it just for the same reason that I had Episode 1 Racers. Like, it's not totally about the game, but it's enough. It's connected enough that. But Vernon.
I mean, really, I've gone over most of the ones that I would say were my honorable mentions. One that was absolutely. And I don't even know if this was offered all over the world because of the fact that it was a Pizza Hut exclusive. Starship Troopers had a PC game that came out that was when America Online was just first starting, that you could log on and actually play other people in this game. It was just a space shooter type game. That one would have been one of my honorable mentions, but highly doubt anybody ever played it. But it was really fun. And for me, the Harry Potter Lego games any of those were very, very fun to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons I didn't bring out the Lego Harry Potter games is because I had a hard job working out which one I wanted to bring up. So, if someone will either bring one of them up, it will make my choice easier, or they just won't come up at all. But
I think that I actually. Yeah, I've got 1 through 4 here. That was my favorite one. Some games I just hold on to because they're actually really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm one of those ones that's terrible for keeping games. Like, if I want to trade my console and stuff, then I'll trade the games with it. But now but anyway, now we get to the fun part where we get to vote on where we want these movies to be. But if we end up in a tie, then we throw it to the chat. If no one's in the chat, then I just bring up a reel because I'm not going to spend ages waiting for someone to turn up in the chat with an answer. But with that being said, I've already got mine, my number 12 written down.
All right,
I guess I need to write that down. Give me just a second. Where's my trivia board? I don't know what my trivia board is.
I mean, if you've got a bit of paper or something, you can use that. Or
let's see. Sorry, y'all can banter while I'm writing this
No,
down.
it's all good. It's this part of the episode where we either get a lot of banter or not enough. But if that, I'm going to go first. I've got Batman NES. Richie
I've put Into the Matrix.
and Vernon, what do you have for 12?
Is this for our 12?
Yeah.
12. We're starting off at 12.
Yeah. I would have to go with probably Batman. It's higher on my list, but of these games that have come out, Batman would definitely be my 12.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I was going to be my middle, 11 anyway.
I mean, it's one of those ones like when it.
Older,
like,
not everybody played it, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at the ones that I have played that made the list. Like, out of the ones I haven't played, like that's the one that I really wasn't interested in playing it or watching it.
All right.
One of the games I've always wanted to play that, if I'd played it, might actually make this list is the Godfather game. This
I have played it. I don't know why I didn't mention it. Anyway, yeah, that's good.
But Richie, what do you have for 11?
I put Into the Matrix again.
Vernon.
I went with the Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone game.
Yeah, I had that too. I enjoy the. I mean, I do enjoy the other ones in the series a little bit more. I mean, I like all the Harry Potter games anyway, but the first game is the biggest one.
I think he's going to triple down on Enter the Matrix.
I'll definitely do this one.
I mean, it's one of the stands like if someone's
It'll
really
eventually
short,
make it.
I'll try different tactic here.
I mean, I think it was when we did the Robert Downey Jr. movies one. Like, I had Tropic Thunder on my board for a lot of it because I'm not a big fan of that movie.
I love it.
All right.
Vernon, what do you have for 10?
This hurts my soul because I do like the Lego games, but of the Lego games that are up here, I would have to eliminate one. But so I would have to go with Incredibles.
Richie,
I put Star Wars Episode 3.
So I put Star Wars Episode 1 Race.
Oh!
Okay, so we did vote again.
It is going to be going through the wheel.
Okay.
And
That is a good, fair way of doing that. I almost put the pod racer game, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like it's like the way I'm kind of doing this in my head is like I'm doing it like how fast do I want to replay that game, and like as much as I do enjoy Episode 1 Racer, it's not one that I really want to go back to all the time.
I think we do have a pretty solid list here, though.
Yeah. And I mean, like, because I was on call with Anthony Tisdale the other day, and like we were talking afterwards. Like he said, there's one game that definitely has to be on this list, and if you don't put it there, it's incomplete. I'm pretty sure he was referring to GoldenEye. I didn't actually ask him which one he was talking about. I finished.
It's one of those hype games that it lives to the hype. Even
Yeah.
now, I mean, you still got people playing this game, like different remade versions of it. They're still playing it.
And honestly, I kind of hope they do another Star Wars race to type games with all the different ships. But got the wheel up, and it is going to be Star Wars Episode 3, just by the smallest of margin too. Which surprised me because those wheels are really big. Richie, what do you have for 9?
I had Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Vernon.
With Incredibles, because that's where it's at on my list. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I could switch out for another one, but this is...
Alright, Vernon, what do you have for 8?
I'm going to go one more time with Incredibles, and then if it's not it, I'm going to switch it.
Richie.
One more time for Enter the Matrix.
I've got one of those movies. It is going to be Lego The Incredibles. I mean, like, out of the 2 Lego games that's here, I'll be, like, as I said, I went back to Lego Jurassic World recently. Lego Incredibles is one that I might go back to. It's just not one I want to or necessarily get.
Well, now I have to go with one I have not played.
Right, just to recap what is on this list. Well, what is on the list that still has to be placed? We've got Aladdin, The Two Towers, Ghostbusters, The Warriors, Enter the Matrix, Lego Jurassic World, and Goldeneye. But I've got Enter the Matrix at 7. Vernon.
I bet he switched off Enter the Matrix, but I went with Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, because I have not actually played it.
And Richie.
You're going to have to go to the wheel again because I didn't think you were going to do it this time. I said the Warriors.
That's my next one that I was going to put. This is definitely fun.
Oh, it is. To the Matrix and the Warriors. Once I actually make sure I put the don't accidentally put movies twice. I accidentally put the Warriors, then the Warriors again.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Into the Matrix, and the Warriors are on the wheel. And it's
Finally,
going to
Edge of
clearly
the
be
Matrix.
Edge of the Matrix. Right, Vernon, what do you have for 6?
In a different color ink, Lord of the Ring, The Two Towers.
Richie,
stop me if you heard this before. The Warriors.
Richie, what did you have?
The Warriors.
I've got the Warriors.
Ah, perhaps I did not write mine out clear enough the first two times.
Richie, what do you have for 5?
Lego Jurassic World.
This is probably going to be a bit of a controversial pick, but I went for one I've not played,
Ooh.
but I've watched
Okay.
things about Goldeneye.
You
Oh, no.
get a lot of hate mail and thumbs down and thing, but I put Lord of the Rings. That's going to be bad if it's
Oh,
the one
please do
pick
not
on the
land on
wheel.
Goldeneye. Please do not
Oh,
land on
man.
Goldeneye.
This channel will get channel will get so much hate. I would almost change my answer so that won't happen.
Can't believe it. Malcolm, how dare you?
We have lost all respect. Oh,
I don't even know what I'd put as number 1 if that goes.
I'm having internet issues. I've got to go.
I mean, it's one of those ones like it's hard to when it comes to games that you've just never played, that you just know enough about to know if you. But yeah, right. But anyway, if anything, the wheel's going to get the hate mail if it goes the way. But it's not
Oh,
going
God.
to.
Okay. All right.
Right. Just to recap what we've got left, got Goldeneye, Ghostbusters, the Two Towers, and Aladdin.
I think Richie and I should just vote really quick on what the number 1 should be, just for the interest of the show.
Keeps it there.
I mean, it's not like I'm trying to put Goldeneye at 12 or anything, is
I
it?
know. It's still high.
Vernon, what do you have?
I'm going to keep on pushing my luck. Lord of the Ring, Two Towers.
Richie,
Please don't have Goldeneye. I put Ghostbusters.
did you see me change my board?
Oh, no! It's got to have its own aura that it's going to survive to number 1 on its own. But next thing you know, Lord of the Ring, The Two Towers will just cream up to the number 1 spot somehow.
Right.
Oh, God. And it's an iPhone. Oh no.
It's not an iPhone. It's
Oh.
a Samsung Galaxy.
Woo!
Oh, there we go.
Just by a narrow margin, it could have been Goldeneye.
That could have been bad. All right, let's
see. Hopefully.
What do we have left? I'm sorry, I'm horrible.
We've got Goldeneye, Aladdin, and Ghostbusters.
Mm.
All right, hang on. Give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Richie, what do you have for free?
Yeah, I dropped it. All right, changed it last second, just hoping that. I mean, Werner would have it because I know what you have. Aladdin.
I got Goldeneye. Hey,
You got.
I think he was counting you.
Oh man, I thought I just you love it because you love the game. I thought you'd have highest. Damn it. No.
No, I would definitely say that Aladdin is the better choice. The magic of 007 must go through one more time, just to show how awesome this game really is. Oh no!
Oh my God! How? Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Okay. I can't. Oh yeah. Cool.
Now, instead of voting for number 2, we're going to vote straight for the number 1.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh God. So what we got left?
Aladdin and Ghostbusters.
All right. Okay.
Which is fun because
I would like to put an asterisk beside number 3, please. That a computer chose that. So we're voting for number 1 now.
Yeah.
All right. God.
Which is pretty much going to be a shot in the dark because I've not played either of these games.
I mean, God, which one do I have? Now it comes down to which one I really want to be at number 1. All right. Just for the love of the franchise.
Here you go, Vernon. There's an
Thank you. Thank you. I want that to be known.
Vernon, what do you have for number 1?
Number 1, I've got to stay with my Bird with the Proton Packs, Ghostbusters.
Richie.
I put Aladdin.
And as I said, I've not played any of these games. I ended up going Aladdin.
I mean, it's a fair pick on that one. Aladdin is good. Either one, honestly, not above the number 3, but either one would definitely be a solid. Would be a solid number 2 and 3 there.
Look. Cool.
And all the subscribers that have ever played video games have suddenly left the channel.
I mean, I don't know if there was any with how hard it was for me to get a panel for this topic, to be honest. But with that being said, I'm going to recap the top 12. At 12, we've got Batman NES. At 11, we've got Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. At 10, we've got Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. At 9, we've got Star Wars Episode 1, Racer. At 8, we've got Lego The Incredibles. At 7, we've got Into the Matrix. At 6, we've got The Warriors. At 5, we've got Lego Jurassic World. At 4, we've got Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. At 3, we've got GoldenEye 64.
No, we don't.
At 2, we've got Ghostbusters. And at number 1, we've got Aladdin. But with that being said, this was a fun list to do.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those ones like it's going to be interesting to see when I put up the poll in the fake Take 3 page what response that it actually gets, if any, because I mean, they're not going to know the placing unless they watch the video. They're not going to know on where they ended up on the list anyway.
Okay.
But with that being said, Vernon, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at WVGLAG, as well as one of the other channels in this community doing some moderating of the chats and certain things over at Cinefanatics. So yeah, that's where you're going to find me floating around.
But Richie, where can people find you online?
You can go to my stand-up comedy like page. Just Richie Goodacre. And also, yeah, I'm around the fan leagues. I've got a couple of things going on Open Night Trivia. Hopefully, you know, I'm around the place, so you'll see me around most leagues.
But yeah, you can find me all over the place. I'm on Take 3 where I host Rankum. Next week's topic will be whatever one you vote on the poll when I put it in the poll in just a bit. You can also find me hosting Late Night Take 3. I think I might do one this week. And the topic will most likely be Britney Spears.
That's a good documentary if you haven't watched it.
I've still got to watch it. I'll probably watch it.
Well worth the time.
But you can also find me over on Full Metal, where I host Full Metal Classic on Sundays. And I also host Full Metal Random. This week's Full Metal Random match is about the Scream franchise.
Get on that.
And you can also find me over on the show Working Title, which is on Opening Night Trivia League. I was on that last week. And I faced Stephen Shepherd, and that was a lot of fun. But with that being said, that's it from us here. Just keep listening shit and be nice, be good to everyone.